It's time for the 3 stars.
It's time for the 3 stars of the past week. Let's do it.
Woo!
All right, do you want me? I'll
I
kick
didn't see you
things.
fill yours out though.
Oh,
Yeah, you
I
kicked
put
them off
it.
because I didn't see it.
I put it in the spreadsheet. Not in the. I forgot that you
Did you?
made a tab for it. So we'll just
Oh,
go
okay.
for here. So for me,
Okay.
I'm giving the third star to Patrick Kane, and a lot of this has to do with the way Chicago's been playing. They've won three. They went 3-0 last week, and he's a big part of that. 6 points, two, yeah, 6 points, and it's Patrick Kane. He's pretty much like I said at the beginning of the season. I gave them a little bit of an edge over Detroit because of the Patrick Kane factor. I just think he's trying to put his team on his back along with the rest of their goalie and all that. So I gave it to him this week as my third star. For my number 2 star, I gave it to Andre Vasilevsky. The guy's been unreal. Basically played every game for Tampa Bay this year except the one. I have his season stats written down, and specifically, I think he only played 2 games last week, but both the games were, I think, 3 games in a row now. He's letting one goal.
I know his
Um,
GAA is one. I know that much.
yeah, for last week it was. Yeah, overall in the
Yeah, it's
season
less
it's
than 8,
one it's 1.8, which is still unreal.
yeah.
9.36 save percentage, and he's got 8 wins already on this short season. So
He's probably gonna win the Vezina.
at this rate, it's pretty much without a question if he keeps that up.
Yeah.
And for my number 1 star, honestly, I gave it to Austin Matthews. There's a lot of Leafs I considered. The Leafs have just been on a tear, and it, I'm not a huge fan of it because I've always had a little bit of a hatred towards this team at certain times. But it's hard to hate this team the way they've been playing. I like Austin Matthews a little bit too. 5 goals,
Mm.
1 assist last week. 2 of them were game-winning goals. I think the Leafs went 4-0. What can I say? I'm giving my number 1 star to Mr. Austin Matthews.
And on top of that, he had 22 shots in 7 days. And he was ranked. This isn't the end all be all, but what I try to look at to help me pick these stars is I go to our fantasy season and
Mm,
I rank all players by the last seven
I do the
days
same
and
thing.
see kind of who stands above everyone
The
else.
only downside to doing it that way is it doesn't give the credit to the defenseman as much as
Yes.
it can. So
Yeah.
over the course,
But I did get recognition to Hedman last week,
you did,
so
yes,
I won't be ignoring defensemen. They'll deserve
yeah,
standouts when they get it. But you're right, it does kind of
it does,
damper their possibilities of being recognized a little bit. But
hmm
um, it's funny because I didn't see your 3 stars until kind of just now, and I'll go through mine. But we have one of the same stars. Um,
that's fine.
my third star is actually Freddie Anderson.
Yeah,
I was debating between Vasilevsky and Anderson, and to be completely honest, it was a no lose either way. Because Freddie's my boy for being a Leaf fan. Like he's one of my favorite Leaf goalies. He's probably 2 or 3 on my all-time Leaf goalie favorite list behind
yeah,
Potvin and Cujo. But he's slowly approaching, if not passing Cujo. But I don't think he'll ever pass Potvin for me. But Vasilevsky's my stud for fantasy, so like it was an easy decision either way.
hmm
But Freddie Anderson, 4 starts, 4 for 4, won all 4 of his starts.
yep,
He had most amount of saves in the NHL in the last 7 days, which is pretty impressive, especially when you take into consideration that was before mostly. Well, Mike Smith had one start in Edmonton, but I actually took that out and added Koskinen's start before that. Freddie Anderson actually has more saves than Koskinen does in his last
okay,
4 games. So
cool,
that to me, that quality may not be there. I don't think he's had the same quality of tasks, but I match him shot for shot is pretty impressive when Edmonton's defense is kind of holy and allows a lot of shots on net.
yeah, kind of holy, yeah. All right, cool.
My second star of the week is this one was a bit of a debate, but I went with Philip Forsberg.
Yeah,
One was because he had the 5 point game, and the other guy I was actually debating was the guy who went head to head that very same game. 5 points was Jonathan Huberdeau.
I consider
Um,
both those guys. The reason I
yeah,
didn't give the notch to Forsberg or was because they've just been losing. Ever,
true.
and then for Easily could have went with Huberdeau. I agree.
Yeah. Yeah. And for me, the difference maker is that, like I've said many times, if it's the same player but one hits more, or it's the same player but one will drop the gloves in a time of need versus one that just stays away from that stuff, I'll take the more physical, or the guy that will go through the mud if he has to when needed.
Mm-hmm.
And Forsberg had 22 hits, Huberdeau had 7. So to me, that is a lot more of a contribution than Huberdeau. So once I looked at some of the peripherals, it was an easy choice. But at first, I did debate between going Forsberg or Huberdeau.
Mm-hmm.
For the first star, I also picked Matthews.
Yeah.
For like I said, fourth in shots on goal during the week. He had 5 goals, 2 game winners, like you said. Just watching him, just as a Leafs fan, he's clearly the best player the Leafs have ever had. I mean, I can't. I maybe I shouldn't say ever had because they have such a long history.
Yeah.
But in the modern era, ever since there was 24 plus teams before the last
Ever
2
since that,
expansions or
yeah,
whatever,
yeah,
like just more so than us, like when we were born, like probably since the Leafs have won a cup last, is the best player to wear the uniform.
which is a
And I'm
huge,
also
yeah,
like, it's a lot because like I'm a Mats guy. Mats was my boy. He was an idol for me growing up, like both in and outside of hockey.
yep,
I took a lot of stuff from him, and he was beyond hockey for me. So to recognize Matthews as a more skilled player than him is saying a lot from me. But yeah, he just has his way to just take over a game. And like the other day, I was watching the power play, and 3 times on the same power play, he clearly wasn't in tune. He was making kind of silly passes that he was forcing. He was kind of playing a bit globetrottery-ish when he should have just played stronger, which I don't mind from time to time, specifically on the power play. Um, but he just all of a sudden turned on a switch, and then that was like 2 minutes before they scored the 2 goals against Vancouver, and they went
mm,
bang bang.
yeah,
And the similar thing happened when they did the same thing against Montreal last night. Where Matthews wasn't clicking, nothing was going on. Montreal had a couple chances, and then bang bang, and it was just he just has a way to change the game with that quick release and that quick shot. He needs no room. And the thing that impresses me most about him is the first year where he came in and had the success he had, he shot the puck a different way. There's actually videos out there showing how he changed his shot. I can't really go into detail. I don't know the details really about it, but basically said he felt he was limited in how he could get the shot off, and he felt that if he changed the mechanisms or mechanics of a shot,
yeah,
that he could become better and more precise and whatever. So one summer he redesigned his whole shooting mechanism. A sniper who's already more elite than almost everyone in the NHL recognized, hey, I can go to another level if I just change these things. To me, that shows the commitment to um, being able to improve on different layers.
yeah,
And only the best of the best have that capabilities, like the Crosbys, like that. So like I think the sky's the limit for him. I was considering going with Marner just because he went with Matthews, but I
yeah.
just felt it wasn't.
Like I said,
It
I could have
was
went with a bunch
yeah.
of different Leafs. I try to when I do it, try to have a different player too. Marner was
Mm.
definitely in there too. I think we gave it to him the first week. He's having a hell of a season. Yeah,
For me, like I won't lie, I feel like I could sooner do what Marner does than what Matthew does. I do not have a shot like Matthews. I
yeah,
do not. I mean, I'm not obviously saying I'm a good hockey player or anything, just personally comparing, right? Like I've always stated, like I believe I'm a playmaker. I always like to see the ice and move the puck around, and to see a guy like Matthews go in and have that shot,
yeah,
I would be the guy that would want to pass him the puck and get all the credit for setting him up. So like to watch a guy have that skill to me is more um, impressive than somebody who moved the puck around, even though I think somebody who can move the puck around can make more other players better.
yeah.
Like I think playmakers can bring lesser players up to a higher level, but sniper players are just better than
Snipers make the money.
peers.
Yeah, like that's what the kids
Yeah,
they like when playing the video games. They like the snipers, all that stuff. I hear you. I hear you.
yeah,
But yeah, that wraps up the 3 stars of the
sure.
week.